I'm Kevin Newman, and I'm Addison Marie's dad.
I'm Jacob Stallings, and I'm the dad of Emmett Stallings and Micah Stallings.
I'm Brian Reynolds, and I'm Reese Scott Reynolds' dad.
I'm Colin Moran, and I'm Oakland Moran's dad.
My name's Dwayne Lee Underwood Jr., and my son's name is Dwayne Lee Underwood III.
I'm Chase DeYoung, and I'm Clay's dad.
My name is Chad Cool, and I'm Hudson Everett Cool's dad.
I'm Chris Stratton. I'm Mac, Mary Bennett, and Darby's dad.
I'm Tyler Anderson, and I'm Hallie and Brinkley's dad.
Have you had any conversations in the clubhouse? Who's been the kind of go-to guy that you've asked or had gotten advice from?
Probably Jacob Stallings, just because he's got 2 sons and kind of been through it. So just being able to bounce questions off him and ask him some advice, he's been the guy to go to.
I would say Chris Stratton probably. Just his kids they're all about a year older than mine, and so we always, he's probably the guy that I go to the most, just with questions and stuff like that about certain things that maybe his kids have done or gone through in the past.
Stallings, he's got 2 kids, older, been through it more. My wife especially leans on his wife for advice, and same with the Strattons. So it's nice to have people that have done it a few times.
Probably Stallings, probably the most. He's got the most experience. So I think, maybe Cahill's got more experience, but yeah, I'd say Stallings.
Yeah, pretty much everybody. We got a lot of guys with kids on the team, and I'm a new dad, and a lot of guys have got some experience, and some guys are just having kids. So we pretty much bounce everything off each other, have some good laughs, and share some stories, and get some good feedback.
And I think maybe Stalls or Strat. I think Strat having another little girl at the same time, it was nice to when our wives were going through their pregnancy and helping each other out, and he's obviously giving me advice and on everything. So one of those guys probably.
Stallings, obviously. He's we're kind of in the same stage of life. I've got an older son, oldest son, and then a middle daughter, and the youngest, and he's got 2 boys, so they kind of sandwich in between my son and my daughter. So I feel like we're in the same stage of life.
What have you learned trying to maintain the balance between baseball and dad life?
Yeah, it's tough. It takes a lot of time and it's a lot of work. You spend a lot of your time, especially while you're gone during the season, you spend a lot of time on FaceTime, on the phone. That's pretty much what you're doing when you're not at the field. It's a constant balance, and obviously baseball takes a lot of effort, but you need to be there for your kids just as much as you are for the field. So it's a 50-50 split of all your time, basically.
Just kind of realizing that Oakland doesn't care what happened when I get home. Right now, if she's awake after a day game or something, but the next morning, she could care less what happened. So just leaving stuff at the field when you have a bad game or a good game, it doesn't matter. It's just as fun to go home and play with her and hang out.
When I go home, it's just being a dad and trying to be a loving husband. And to be honest with you, they make baseball a lot easier just because it helps take your mind off. Maybe if you had a bad performance or didn't live up to the expectations you had of yourself, they love you the same. And my wife has always done that and helped me keep a level head, and my kids always help that out as well.
I mean, during the season, it's tougher. I get to spend his first little wake time, a couple hours in the morning, and then he takes a nap and I have to leave. But then after the games, most of the time, sometimes he'll still be up and I'll get to see him for a little bit then and do bedtime. But I mean, most of the time, especially on the road, it's on my wife. So, the fact that she can handle that on her own is wild. She'll go do an errand or something, and I'll have to watch him. And yeah, it's tough. It's exhausting. So more power to her.
Yeah, I mean, just try and be there as best you can. Change the diapers when you're home, and a lot of FaceTime when you're on the road. But try and have that healthy balance where if I'm home and if I wake up at 9 and we have a game that night from 9 to 2, try and be all over and changing diapers and feeding them, and then letting her kind of take the rest of the day until after the game. So just trying to having that healthy balance.
I have an incredible wife and support system that helps me out tremendously, so I can, you know, be a baseball player and a provider, and then when I come home, I get to be a dad.
My son, Emmett, doesn't really give me much of a choice. Every time that I'm home, it's pretty much we play, and he doesn't really give me much of another choice. So it's pretty easy. It's a nice distraction too from baseball, just being at home and playing with them and being with them.
Since becoming a dad, it's gotten a lot easier actually to separate work and home. You know, once you leave the field and come home, my daughter doesn't care, you know, how I do at the field or what goes on at the game. You know, when I come home, I just get to see a smile on her face, and that kind of brightens my day. So she's made it a lot easier to actually separate the two.
What do you want most this Father's Day?
Hang out with my kid, just have my kid around me as much as humanly possible.
Just to spend time with Addison and Shani, just to have, you know, a special night with them, and you know, I'm able to hang out with them on the off days and stuff and spend time with her. Just those moments and that time with them is really all I ask.
I mean, this is going to be my first one, so to document it, I mean, take a picture on the field with him, which would be pretty fun.
I would assume we're playing, so you know, a win and just some good family time with my family.